Hey everybody, it's Sunday afternoon. Here's the snow pile in front of the house. Last week was really bad the whole week, so they didn't pick up the garbage when they were supposed to. So we're overflowing here. Hopefully it's getting better. Today I made it up to 40. Supposed to be almost up to 60 maybe by Wednesday. So this stuff should start disappearing very soon. And I'm going to keep track of how long this snow pile actually lasts. This is the first time they've ever done this. I've got a storm sewer in front of me, so I guess they figured that'd be a good place to pile it, right in front of the storm sewer. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I got done today. So let's go inside. While I was in Indiana, my wife got the dresser cleaned off, so now I have a really nice work area. Really happy about that, because I was working in the garage before most of the time. So I decided to just go ahead and square this off. I just used a piece of wood I had here. That's why it doesn't fill in the gap all the way. It's not going to be that big a deal. So it's gluing right now, and then I'll put a couple screws on it. And again, I've got screws up underneath here holding it to the layout. So, it's not like I'm going to be, it has to hold a bunch of bowling balls or anything. So I'm going to use a 1x6. And I will come in here vertically. I'm going to use 1x6 framing for my, just like traditional type model railroad bench work. And I'll leave it down 1 inch. Actually, I put a piece of foam on it, so the foam lines up with the top of this. So all I have to do is fill in this gap right here, which I can do with probably a piece of wood, I imagine. I had a piece of wood there before. So I think I can just put a piece of wood there, and then it'll transition to foam right here for the rest of the layout. And of course, like I said, I'm going to try to have a bridge and a cutout scene. So there's not going to be any elevation change. This is actually dead level, but this layout to that layout is dead level. So not going to be any grade at all. But I'll cut out, the fascia and have the scenery go down there. So thought I'd show you where I'm at right now. Might go buy some 1x6s tomorrow. This is the south end of Oak Hill. You remember I had a staging yard at one time before we moved everything. Now it runs into the door. So I think in order to facilitate having a staging yard, I'm going to take this track, which is just glued down, and I'm going to curve it out this way. And I should be able to take the staging track in front of the door. And we either have to shut the door and lock it, or leave it open. But so it's going to be a little challenge. I don't really have anything to support it with. I may have to make a freestanding leg. I'm not sure. Maybe the clamp will hold it. This is going to be a pretty short staging yard, just a couple feet. But anyhow, that's one challenge. And at the other end, because remember, I had this angled like back toward the wall. So in order to facilitate joining it over here, I'm going to take this track and I'm going to straighten it. I'm going to have it come out here so it comes straight off the end of the module. So basically I'm starting to make the curve a little bit bigger, because the way it's going now, I'm going to have to go out and come around and back. And so I'm going to go ahead and do those tonight in preparation for getting some 1x6s tomorrow and starting to frame up in here. So I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. There's never a shortage of entertaining cats in my home. Just watch where you step. This is the curve at the south end of the layout. This is the road bed that I had to cut out. I glued that down with liquid nails when I was doing this. So I had to touch that up, and I'm going to have to shim underneath the track to get it level, because right now it's wanting to come off the roadbed at an angle, and it's not going to work like that, but I'll be able to fix that after everything dries, probably tomorrow. And on the other end, it was more subtle. I didn't have to really bring it that much, but you can see it's now not curved back toward the wall. It's now coming straight, sort of perpendicular off the end. I've got that little piece of masonite there to help hold it up so that it will all dry, because I used water to dissolve the Elmer's glue. That's all I did was glue the track down with Elmer's glue, so it comes up real easy, with water. So let that dry. I'll glue the track down tomorrow and fix the plastic road bed that I've got underneath it and paint it, and then I can work on the bench work. Progress update. So I've just got this 1x6 screwed to the end, and I put this on here because this needs to be the level of that. I put a level across. Actually, I moved ITT Grinnell so I wouldn't have the tracks to mess with and ballast and all that, and so it's level. So the tracks need to come on out here to be level. Got this screwed up here. I've got my studs marked, and the horizontal marks are where the 1x6 is going to run across there. I will take this board down and screw the 1x6 against the wall to it before I fasten it to the wall, and I've got my studs marked over here as well, and over here, because I'm using the same foam, then the top of the 1x6 needs to be right there so the foam can be on top of it. So it's not quite the same distance or the same angle. I don't know if I can get both of them. Yeah, so it's a little bit longer at the other end. So this piece I'm going to angle a little bit. So I need to figure that out. What I'm going to do, and I don't know where I'm going to put my supports this way yet, because when I put the bridge in, I don't have the bridge in my hand. When I put the bridge in, of course, I have to have risers at each end of the bridge. But I'm going to go ahead and mock this up now. I've got the bridge ordered. I'm just going to do a 40-foot plate girder bridge. Nothing fancy, but there wasn't anything fancy in this area. I'm not going to have some huge bridge. The only big bridges were across the side of the river, and I don't want to model something like that. So just be a little water scene. But anyhow, I will go ahead and mock this up, but I'm going to make it where I can take it down to put in the bridge when I get it. And I've got some 1/2-inch plywood that I intend to use for this, to fill this in. I think that's going to fill that in. May have to finagle it a little bit, but anyhow, that's the plans. That's where I'm at right now, so I'll give you an update. So this is where I was at earlier. I just had this board on. Again, it's level. When I put a piece of foam on it, my 1-inch foam, it's level from here to there. I'm just going to have to fill up this gap with plywood, I guess. That's what I did before when I had my little staging yard. You can see I have ITT Grinnell sitting up there out of the way so I could put the level there. So have a board screwed into the studs in the wall. Another one down there. Another one. This one is screwed to Oak Hill. I have a cross brace here, and then another one here. I don't have anything in here yet because I don't know where the bridge is going to be exactly. I'm rethinking my 40-foot plate girder, going to an 80-foot plate girder, because 40 foot's only 3 inches long, and I want it to be a pretty good water scene. So I'm thinking that I just sort of have this drawn on here. I can cut that out. Actually, I can take this board off without any problem. Once I figure out where I want the bridge to go, then I can add a couple more pieces in here, tied them into the wall. My intention is to have the stream sort of curve and then sort of like act like it's going out of sight back here instead of just like running dead into the wall. But see if I can do that. I think that would be better than having it just run into the wall. I've got the fascia off here. Again, I'm going to put 7 inches. I said 6 earlier, but I have to put 7. Probably could have got away with 1x4s here instead of 1x6s. But in order to cover this entire board up, we have to have 7 inches. So I'll take this fascia off and tie this all so it all look like one layout. It'll be 7 inches. Get down to here, I may need to notch it around the file cabinet. Anyhow, back to that in a second. I have my track here. I've got the curve in it, so hopefully I can bring the staging yard in front of the door. Again, this isn't a huge staging yard. I mean, I guess I could make it bigger than I had it before because I don't have any limitation. Before I was going to hit the wall. Could make it bigger, but I don't really need to. I don't see any need to make it any longer than 3 feet or something. Okay, so I'm going to put this down now and show you what else I've got planned so far, done so far. As you can see, I've got some foam cut. Now, if I wasn't going to put a bridge in, I could just fill in this gap right here. I'd probably still put another support underneath here. That's big, I don't really like that unsupported, but I could just lay the track and work on the scenery. But since this is a scenery only zone, I think I'm going to make it, creek and maybe a few rolling hills, sort of something like that, make it a little bit more interesting. So again, once I get, the reason why I cut the foam like this though, is I can go ahead and figure out my track. I can just lay the track, I can bend the flex track and everything and sort of figure out what it's going to be like. And I'm thinking about just putting some traditional roadbed, plywood roadbed in, and with risers up from the bench work here, 1x3s, sort of like old other layouts usually do. But I'll get into that when I get the bridge this week. I'll try to figure out where it's going to be. Again, if I underneath, take this out. Okay. So since I'm going to cut that out, I'm planning on having a plywood bottom down here between wherever the these joists go, and then I can stack foam up on top of that and carve the foam out to build a creek bed. Again, this is all new to me. I've never done anything like this. This is by far the most complete layout I've ever gotten, not counting a garden railroad. I've never attempted anything like a creek before, so I'll be watching a lot of YouTube videos, learning how to do it, and reading some books, reading some articles and stuff, how to do it, and hopefully I can pull it off. Okay. So that's it for today. I'll just, sorry no trains running or anything. That's the bad part about this big project is I've basically got Oak Hill pretty much on hold. It's a mess. Haven't really worked much on buildings because until I get these connected, I feel like that's my biggest priority. Then I can get back to working on other stuff. And maybe later this week I'll run a train for you, and hopefully I'll have the bridges in later in the week and we can talk some about that. So everybody stay safe.